Welcome back to Eastside Story. I'm Kim Larson, and with me in studio is Cathy Grant and her friend Emily Griffiths. Welcome to Eastside Story.
Thank you.
Cathy is a advocate for people with disabilities. She's a self-advocate, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how life is in general, being a disabled person. Tell me what it's like on a daily basis, like maybe just going out on the street, the sidewalks.
Okay. Some sidewalks, not in Surrey, they're pretty good, the ones we were on today, but Eastside is kind of bumpy, and if you can imagine, I'm in a wheelchair, so I bump along, and that can jar my body sometimes, and it's not a nice feeling, but I get around.
Yeah, and the city's slowly changing, slowly but surely getting more proper access up and off the sidewalks.
And just for those viewers that don't know, unfortunately I don't remember the number, but if you look at the local papers, they have a symbol with a wheelchair and a number, and if you see a curve that's not right for you, then you can call that number, and they take a while, but they do promise that they will get to your area.
Progress is being made.
Progress is being made, that's right.
How do you find it getting in and out of stores? Is that easy, or do you find problems there?
Well, if they're really small, they're impossible. Like a dollar store that's got everything tight and everything, I get very upset.
Can't make it down the aisleways?
No.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Also some of the doorways, right? Sometimes they have the push buttons with the disability, the accessible doors, but sometimes it's only one door that'll open and it's not wide enough for an electric wheelchair, and sometimes we're sort of trying to push the other one and bumping along. And it's an adventure.
Yeah, it is. But I like the challenge of getting out there and doing things like, you know, making my voice being heard on TV. Thank you again for letting me do that.
Well, very welcome, and thank you for coming along. Tell me, how did you two meet?
Emily, do you want to start?
Sure. Cathy and I first met actually at a community living conference that we were both at. Cathy had gone for her own interest, and I'd gone with my cousin who has a disability and my aunt. And about maybe a month later, I gave her a call because I was taking a course at UBC, sort of a special education course. And we had an assignment to do an interview with somebody with a disability, an adult or a child in their family, and talk about issues and, you know, how it is living in the society and problems that come up or things that are sort of challenging.
So are you wanting to become someone as like an assistant to someone with disabilities, as a helper or a helpmate?
No, well, professionally my own interest is education. I kind of have an interest in special ed, but I'm going into French immersion, so that's a different path. With Cathy, we sort of started out doing, she helped me with my project. She agreed to let me interview her and gave me some personal information, and we had some nice chats that turned into a paper that I could hand in. That was really nice.
You got an A on it.
I did get an A on it, thank you. And then from there, we just sort of realized we had other things to talk about, so we kind of made more appointments to see each other, even though the paper was done, and then kind of didn't stop. And yeah, we just sort of started hanging out. So kind of went from there.
Very good. How is it financially for you?
It's not bad. The government just gave me a $70 raise. I don't know if the landlords are going to say, people with disabilities have more money. Let's put the rent back up.
Do you think they do stuff like that?
Oh,
you think your rent's going to go up $70 now that you got your $70 raise? Do you think
I think it's possible. I don't know, but I think it's fairly possible. And I like the days when they had rent control, or whatever that was called. I'm not sure. What was it called?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, there was some rent control a while back.
Yeah, but
you'd like to see that come back.
Well, if we're going to get more money and another group of people just take it away, then we haven't gained anything.
Exactly.
So, you know, I think that we should be aware of that, and people should let other people know, and so advocates can fight.
But you find it a struggle financially?
Yeah, it can be a struggle. I think people that don't have jobs are, you know, I'm worth my money, and I think I'm worth my $400, and I think I should have a paid position job that feels good and meaningful, that will keep me going. I don't mind starting out volunteer, but I do have a struggle with the fact that everything's volunteer, and there's no, like, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and hardly likely no end, and you don't get anything from it. You just sort of do it and do it and do it, and there's no return. Like, you know, not. And we live in a world where money is highly driven. Like, everything's money, and I understand that I'm talking on a TV show today that's run by volunteers, and I like that. But I also think there's a place for people like me to have full-time, meaningful jobs, and that they use my skills and my experiences. I have many experiences, and I have many stories that I think the world.
I was looking at a website, and I was reading some stories that you had written on the website. You write very well, and
Yes,
I couldn't help but pick up on your knowledge about communication in relationships, and but tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I took a course at Douglas College a few years ago, and I've always been interested on how we communicate, and what do we tell each other, and what do we tell ourselves, and so I am a writer, and I'm trying to get motivated again, and I'm hoping that media and my writing can sort of meet and get something going on the job part, because I really believe I have the skills to have a job that's really good for me.
Tell me a little bit what it's like from that point when you're going out into the world and looking for a job, wanting to apply for something out there. How do people treat you? Do you feel it's different?
Yes, totally. First of all, I have the label of
Developmental disability.
See, I don't even like the word. I don't even like the word, so I have trouble speaking it. Isn't that interesting? But I believe that if I was in the health sector, not in family and children development, they're really good to me. I want to say that really loud and clear. They are really good to me. But I believe that if I was in the health section, I would probably have a job. People that get stuck with the labels so
Yeah, they label you, and they assume that you're going to be a certain way?
yeah.
Yeah, I find there's a lot of assumptions tied into that. She's just talking in terms of ministries, right? What ministry your kind of care and your funding comes through, and Cathy's mentioned that there's a lot of kind of assumptions that go along with that in terms of what you're going to need and what you can do.
Yeah, and people have said to me, well, why don't you go back to school? Well, I need lots of support for that, just on the homework level, and it comes down to that community thing.
I want to thank you very much for coming into the studio.
Oh, you're
and
welcome.
telling us a little bit about yourself, and good luck in finding some job out there. I think you should go into writing. I really do, because I think you write very well. And so wrapping up this edition of Eastside Story, here's a look at some of the